.org. Yes, this is Breaking with Convention, War, Peace, and the Presidency. I'm Amy Goodman. We're broadcasting from the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. Next week, we'll be in Philadelphia for the week. Both weeks, we've expanded our broadcast to 2 hours every day. We're joined right now by a man described as the Jon Stewart of Egypt. Maybe Jon Stewart is the Bassem Youssef of the United States. Who knows? But this is Bassem Youssef. His show was known as The Daily Show of the Arab world for its satire of politics in Egypt and the Middle East. The program was launched after former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak was ousted from power in the 2011 uprising. It became the most popular TV series in Egypt's history, with as many as 30 million views per episode. During Mohamed Morsi's presidency, the program came under increasing pressure, and in 2013, an arrest warrant was issued for Youssef for allegedly insulting Islam and Morsi. Youssef was interrogated and subsequently released on bail, but the pressure continued under the next regime. And in 2014, Bassem Youssef announced he was taking the program off the air just days after General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was elected president. Bassem Youssef has now started a new comedy program, but it focuses on the United States. In the opening to the show Democracy Handbook, Youssef explains why he left Egypt.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Bassem Youssef. In my native Egypt, I was a surgeon until the Arab Spring, when I realized my country itself had fallen ill. So I created a comedy show to help the nation heal. The people liked it, but the government, not so much. And before things got worse, I left for the land of the free. Now I can learn from the best. Yeah! After all, this is the United States of America, the greatest democracy on earth, right?
Well, we are joined by Bassem Youssef. His new show, Democracy Handbook, airs on Fusion. Welcome to Democracy Now! It's great to see you.
I'm very happy to be here.
So a doctor, a cardiologist turned comedian?
Cardiac surgeon.
Cardiac surgeon.
Yes, and I was supposed actually to be here in Cleveland if everything went as planned, because I was accepted into a pediatric heart surgery fellowship 6 years ago. And the revolution happened, I did my show, and I never came.
And talk about that show and what happened to it.
My show in Egypt? You know, it started on the internet, then went into a small TV show, then went into a full-blown live show on theater. And then I had trouble with both regimes under the Islamists or the military government. And
what do you think of General Sisi, President Sisi?
Oh, he's the most democratic president in the history of Egypt, of course. I mean, unprecedented democracy, unprecedented liberties, as he always described Egypt. And this is why we have so many people who had their shows canceled. They're either living in exile or in prison. Maybe he has a different version of liberty and freedom, but I'm sure he's enjoying it.
Why did you feel you had to leave Egypt?
Well, there was increasing pressure on everyone, and there was this case between me and the previous channel who canceled the show, and suddenly we were hit by an arbitration verdict which was totally unfair and was totally politicized, and I found myself like owing them 100 million pounds, although they're the one who shut down the show. And of course, the thing is, in the Middle East, they will never come after you because of like your freedom of speech. You'll find something else, you know, like getting Al Capone for taxes. So what happened was that, like, I know that like the clock was ticking, and I would be soon put on either like a no-fly list or maybe even more. And when I left, looking back, this is actually what happened to so many people who had problems leaving the country, coming into the country. And I didn't just want to be under the mercy of somebody telling me that you can't leave.
So what are you doing here at the RNC?
Well, first of all, I'm having a relationship now with Fusion, with the Democracy Handbook being released.
And then explain what Fusion is.
Fusion is a TV channel, part of Univision and ABC, and they are now, I think they like what I did with Democracy Handbook, and they want me to cover the RNC as the Arab correspondent.
So let's go to an excerpt of Democracy Handbook. In this episode, Bassem talks to Donald Trump supporters in Georgia.
I believe that he loves America. Well, he's definitely energetic. He's electric.
I think that you can depend on what he tells you, that he'll do what he tells you.
Trump, 100%.
He's a loudmouth, and I think we need that.
You understand exactly how is he going to make America great again?
I might not understand fully, but I like what I do here for the most part. So,
Like what?
I mean, he's literally saying he's going to make America great again.
And you like that?
I love that.
I think he can help get this country back on the financial road.
So do you think that he is successful financially?
Yes, very much so.
Tell us some of his successful businesses.
I cannot. I just know that every businessman fails, goes bankrupt like several times.
He doesn't answer to anybody.
That's right.
He doesn't obey anybody.
That's right.
Nobody can hold him accountable.
That's right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I like Donald Trump because he is a very intelligent person.
What has he done or said that made you think that he's smart?
Well, I watched him on The Apprentice.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So that is Bassem Youssef talking to Trump supporters in Georgia. Talk about that experience.
Well, when I went there, I mean, people, of course, were mesmerized by Donald Trump appearance. But I find it's the same echo chamber that I find in the Middle East. You know, people are just like repeating the same sound bites without even thinking it through. When somebody tells me, we want to make the military great again, and in the same exact sentence tell me we need to reduce federal spending, I don't know how is that possible. And when he tells me, like, we need to make America great, the military great again, I tell him, how many more countries do you want to invade? It is just like, it doesn't make sense. And I remember, I think one of the most memorable moments for me, when I think it was the governor or the mayor, the guy who appeared before Donald Trump, and he said, he was talking to the crowd. It's like, if Donald Trump didn't do anything other than building the wall, would you still vote for him? Everyone's like, yeah. So this is a whole campaign based on fear and xenophobia. It doesn't matter. Do you think, like, so when I see like the news cycles going and saying, oh, look, Donald Trump said this, Donald Trump said that, his wife plagiarized this, plagiarized that. Do you think it makes any difference and his supporters? No. I mean, if he said, I have absolutely no plan, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with the economy, with foreign policy, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, we had a president who said, like, I have no plan for anything, and I'm just going to be president. It's like, yeah, go, because of Egypt, because of everything. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. People are just voting out of emotions. People voting just out of fear, and that's it.
Let's go to another clip from Democracy Handbook. In this episode, Bassem Youssef visits a Muslim-free gun store.
I declared Florida Gun Supply a Muslim-free zone as a direct response to political correctness.
I'm Andy with Florida Gun Supply, and if you want to make your home safe from ISIS, all you need is one of our Muslim-free zone signs.
So what's the best thing about being Muslim-free?
We sold a bunch of really great stuff. For instance, we came up with our bumper stickers. It says, warning, this car is a MFZ. Now, we didn't necessarily want to spell out Muslim-free zone because that would be car bomb territory, right?
That would be the only reason, yeah.
We produced our ISIS hunting permits. It says no tagging required, no bagging limit.
That's so funny.
We worked with a company to create the Mohammed targets, realistic-looking jihadis, but we taped the San Bernardino shooters' faces on them, and they started selling better.
Mohammed target for $3, Mohammed with crotch shot
for $5, yeah.
Let's face it, hate sells.
So we're going to continue on the theme of guns with Bassem Youssef. In this episode, Bassem visits a gun show in Florida.
As long as you're of age, you've never done more than 1 year in jail, you're not deemed crazy or drunk at the time of purchase, getting a gun in America is a breeze. Especially at gun shows, which happened every weekend everywhere in America with stuff for the whole family. Moms, kinky moms, babies, hyperactive preteens, and even something for your anti-Semitic uncle. How many guns do you have?
I have 8.
8 guns.
I have a ton of guns. I spend all my UFC money on guns.
I have 122 and 120 gauge.
Americans bought over 1.7 million guns in September 2015 alone. But why? What do you use your gun for?
Mainly just target shooting.
I'm a hunter.
Personal defense.
It's about having the right to protect yourself against another human being or animal, or like crazy bears that come at you and stuff like that. Like, it's all legal.
And we can't stop. We want to continue with the Democracy Handbook. This one is Bassem Youssef in Flint, Michigan, speaking with Beulah Walker of the Detroit Water Brigade, asking if the water crisis is a way to stop immigrants from coming to the city.
Let's talk about the problems that Flint has. It has unemployment, crime, water crisis. Does it have illegal immigration problem?
No, it does not.
So people don't want to immigrate to Flint?
No one wants to. I wouldn't.
You think this is a kind of a silver lining, keeping people out? Where I come from, it's just much more straightforward. We just like go and bomb the whole city down and go out. Horrible. Yeah, it's faster.
That is an excerpt of Democracy Handbook. So what you're doing with the series, you're traveling around the country.
Yes. And the thing is, I try to find out some of the topics that could resonate in both worlds. So, for example, when you talk about religion, this is supposed to be a secular country with total separation between church and state. Back in the Middle East, we are being criticized that we have religion interfering in everything. Here, it seems that it's also it's interfering in everything, but it's okay because it seems to be the right religion. When you have like the next vice president identifying himself as Christian first before everything, that goes against the Constitution and all of the secularism and all of the separation between state and church.
Well, you certainly know when both go together. In 2013, accused of insulting then-President Mohamed Morsi and insulting Islam, a warrant issued for your arrest. You turned yourself in, were questioned for 6 hours before being released on bail. A blast from the past now. The Daily Show's Jon Stewart sent a message to Morsi following your detention.
So Bassem Youssef pokes fun of your hat and your lack of promised democratic reforms. What are you worried about? You're the president of Egypt. You have an army. He's got puns and a show. You have tanks and planes. We should know. We still have the receipts. Look, silencing a comedian doesn't qualify you to be president of Egypt. Just president of NBC, I mean. I gotta tell you something.
Talk about a once proud empire.
There you have it, Jon Stewart, when he was doing The Daily Show, talking about the Jon Stewart of Egypt, Bassem Youssef, who's come to this country to talk about, well, democracy there, where he comes from in Egypt, and democracy here. Yeah. And what is your conclusion?
Well, my conclusion is that you still have a great democratic process here. I mean, but my show is just can serve as a warning to tell you that, you know, there are certain practices that's happening here that's not far off of what I've seen in my part of the world. The xenophobia, the racism, the ignorance, and the hate is basically increasing everywhere, not just in the United States. Like, I think it's like kind of like the extreme right-wing mentality is winning ground every day out of fear, and it's scary. It's kind of like I'm telling people, guys, we're the prequel. Don't do that.
And what do you think about the grassroots movements that are pushing back? I mean, every day from Black Lives Matter to Occupy.
Well, these are great movements. The problem is that they are up against huge corporations, institutions, and entities that basically are turning this democracy into an oligarchy. And they are underfunded, they're undersupported, and I wish they're gaining traction, but I hope they can be up against those humongous, very powerful institutes. It's an uphill fight, and it's not easy. But at the end of the day, you guys kind of stood against the British Empire. So,
and
who knows?
Egypt, where it is now?
Well, I always say it's like a George Orwellian 1984 novel, but it's not even well written.
Well, Bassem Youssef, I thank you for being with us. Egyptian comedian, satirist known as the Jon Stewart of Egypt. His show, known as The Daily Show of the Arab World. Once he could no longer make fun of Egyptian politics, he moved to the U.S. to satirize American politics. His new show, Democracy Handbook, airs on Fusion, and you can see it on YouTube as well. Special thanks to all the folks at Denver Open Media and our team here at Democracy Now!, to Dennis Moynihan and John Hamilton and Sam Alcoff and Laura Gottesdiener, to Dina Guzder and Nermeen Sheikh, as well as Ravi Karen and Hani Massoud. Thank you so much to all those that are making this broadcast possible. Thank you as well to Carla Wills. I'm Amy Goodman. Go to our website at democracynow.org for both hours of Democracy Now! Here at the Republican Convention and then again at the Democratic Convention next week.